Hello, in this video we're going to be talking about patterns, more specifically how to deal with patterns in coordinate pairs, tables, and graphs. So first we're going to take a look at some vocabulary. First word is sequence. Sequence is the entire set of numbers. So in the example we have here, the sequence would include all the numbers 12, 15, 18, 21, and it would continue if you continued the pattern of the rule that's happening in there. So it's all the numbers that you see. That's your sequence. A term is just one of those numbers. So 12 is a term, 15 is a term, 18 is a term, 21 is a term. They'll refer to those when they're looking for different terms. So they'll look for a missing term or the fifth term in this case, because we have the first term, the second term, the third term, the fourth term. We're missing the fifth term. And in order to find that fifth term, we would use a rule or a pattern. So we'd see what's happening between each number and continue that rule or that pattern. It should be the same thing or close to the same thing every time, and it should make sense. So in this sequence, we have 12, 15, 18, 21. We have to figure out the pattern first. And if we're looking at the numbers, I start at 12 and try and get to 15, I know I have to add 3. So we want to make sure we can add 3 every single time before we say that's definitely our pattern. Next, when I get from 15 to 18, I have to add 3 again. And from 18 to 21, I have to add 3 again. So now I know my pattern is definitely going to be add 3 to my previous term. Now I want us to figure out the next 2 terms. So in order to figure out the next 2 terms, that would be term 5 and term 6, we would just continue that pattern where we left off. So the last number is 21. To get the fifth term, you're going to add 3 again. 21 plus 3 is 24. And then the next term after will be 24 plus 3, which is 27. So we figured out the next 2 terms using the pattern that we figured out previously. And if we want to figure out the 10th term, it's just continuing that pattern until you've got 10 terms. So right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we would need to find out the 7th, the 8th, the 9th, and then the 10th term would be our answer, whatever we put in here. So continuing that pattern that we figured out, which was add 3, we are at 27. If we add 3, we're going to get 30. Add 3 again, that's 33. Add 3 again, that's 36. And add 3 again, that's 39. So the answer we were looking for is the 10th term. So our answer in that case would just be 39. Right, so again, we had a sequence, we found the pattern, and with that pattern, we can find all the different terms. So if we know that, we can apply that to all the different types of questions that they could ask in 5th grade. And they may vary depending on state test questions. Well, here are a couple examples that might pop up. It says, what are the missing terms? It looks very similar to what we did, only we have missing numbers in there. So we can still find a pattern or a rule. We just have to look at numbers that are next to each other. So we have 19 and 21. I know to get from 19 to 21, I could add 2. So we would just have to check and make sure that's going to work every time. I know 21 plus 2 is 23. 23 plus 2 is 25. 25 plus 2 is 27. But we have the missing first term. So we're going to go backwards on this one. Instead of adding 2 here, we would subtract 2. So that would give us 17. So that shows that we're adding 2 every single time to get the next term. The second type of question they might ask has to do with a coordinate pair or ordered pairs. On these ones, I like to create tables, and I tell my students to make sure you create a table. So they would come over and create a table on the side or on a separate piece of paper, wherever they have room, and they'd have their X value and their Y value. This comes from previous videos. So our X is always to the left, and our Y is always going to be to the right. And I always go from left to right filling in our table. So we do have 12 as our X, 10 as our Y. Go to the next coordinate pair, we have 9 and 7. Next coordinate pair is 6 and 4. And then we can find our missing pair by finding out the rules of what's happening. From 12 to 9, I'm subtracting 3. From 9 to 6, I'm subtracting 3. So to get my missing number or x value, I would subtract 3 again. 6 minus 3 is 3. For my y values, I would do the same exact thing. 10 minus 3 in this case, 7 minus 3, and then 4 minus 3 is going to give you 1. They do not always have to give you the same exact pattern on both sides. It just happens this time. Sometimes they'll have the same pattern. Most times they'll have different ones. So our answer is going to be that bottom row we found the missing, which is 3, 1, is the next set of ordered pairs in that set. Moving on from ordered pairs, they could ask us in a graph. So we have a graph. It says, what's the next set of ordered pairs? We'd have to look at each point and determine that ordered pair. This point is 2, 2. My next point up is 4, 4. My next point up is 6, 6. And this is an easy pattern, 2, 2, 4, 4, 6, 6. We would know that the next one would be 8, 8. But for the difficult ones, again, I would make the students create a table. In that table, put down the pairs that you found, 2, 2, 4, 4, 6, 6. And then we would try and figure out what the pattern is that's happening. It's 2. In order to find out that missing set of coordinate pairs that we got to find. On the right side, it's add 2 again, add 2 again. So if I add 2 to 6, I get 8. So that's using a table again to be able to find out our answer is 8, 8, which is choice C in this case. But I would always stress to make sure to do a table just in case. A lot of students will see 2, 2, 4, 4, 6, 6, and the first choice they have available is 7, 7. And they do that on purpose to make sure that the student's paying attention. A lot of people will pick 7, 7 in 5th grade. Last one's a word problem they can use. In this case, Jacqueline's collecting seashells at the seashore. She plans on collecting 5 additional shells each day. If she wants to start on Monday and collect 7 seashells, how many will she collect on Saturday? So we know she starts on Monday. Again, I'm going to draw my table. In this case, I'm just going to go horizontally, and I'm going to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. My table is going to look a little bit different. And they tell me that she starts on Monday and collects 7 seashells. So I'm going to put 7 for Monday. And she also collects 5 additional seashells each day. So if she collects 5 more, by Tuesday, she has collected 7 plus 5, which is going to be 12. And we continue that pattern because she collects 5 more each day. So 17, move over, plus 5. 17 plus 5 is going to be 22. If I add 5 again, I get 27. If I add 5 again, I'll finally get what I'm supposed to have on Saturday, which is 32. And that's our answer. So we're looking for how many will she collect on Saturday. On Saturday, she will have collected 32 seashells. Again, that's a quick rundown of the different types of questions they could ask. They might come up with different ones as well, but it's always continuing patterns, and the easiest way to continue patterns using the graph or coordinate pairs is always going to be a table. It helps organization, it helps understand the patterns and how to set it up, and it eventually leads you to the correct answer if you use it every single time. So it's a strategy I really encourage any of our students to use. Hopefully this helps out with the end of graphing This is the last video, so that wraps up everything that fifth grade needs to know this year. Have a great day.